Hi there, it's Liz here. Hope you're having a good day. So Colin's just had his afternoon snooze and he's woken up feeling all refreshed and raring to go. So he's decided that he's going to do a job that I think he quite likes doing, which is de-seeding or de-pipping the olives. He's just picked all the olives off our tree. When I say all the olives, it's a baby tree. We've only had the tree 3 years. But it's enough for probably about 4 jars of olives. So he has to go through lots of different routines to get these olives ready. You wonder whether it's worth it, but anyway, he enjoys it. And I thought you'd be interested to see what he's going to be doing with these olives. I'm sorry for laughing, but it does amuse me because he sits there taking all these pips out of the olives. I'll show you the olive tree anyway, and then I'll take you to see what he's doing. It takes him quite a long time, so it's a good job he's had a little sleep. So as you can see, this is our olive tree. It does need a bit of a trim really, but we waited till we got the olives off. My mum bought this tree for us when we first moved over 3 years ago, and it's a bit like a little memorial tree for me. I just absolutely love olive trees, and I love the bark and the way the trunks grow. But I've got some nice hanging lights on these, and then there's I don't know if you can see that little memorial heart there. That's to my cat Fred, who came over. He moved over with us, but sadly died about 3 months after we moved over here. So I made that for him. And then I've also got a hanging, what would you call it? Well, it's got pumice stone on it, and it's got driftwood and some beads. And I made it with stuff that I collected when I visited New Zealand. Well, my dad made it for me actually, and put it all together. I gave him the beads. And sadly we lost my dad as well in 2016. So I've got that up here to remind me of my dad, so I feel like he's around with me. I've also got a beautiful hanging mobile that makes a gorgeous noise, and that was from my son this Christmas for my birthday. For my Christmas present last year, which I loved. Oh look, and Gus is in the background there. He's seen that I'm chatting, so he wants a little chat too. Are you following me around? Yeah, okay. So this is our gorgeous olive tree that we absolutely love, and I'm going to show you now what Colin's doing with the olives. So Colin, what are you up to?
Well, it's the least interesting job. I'm de-stoning the olives. As you can see.
That's one of the stones has just gone on there. It's supposed to go in a bucket, isn't it?
Yeah, this one that's right under the stone. Yeah, it's one of those jobs. Best to have something to listen to while you're doing it. It's going to take you a while. Not that many olives, but to be honest, they will take.
These are your olives, aren't they?
These are they. Mostly.
I said about 3. We thought about 3 jars. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Thereabouts. Allowing for wastage. A lot of people will think that these are a little bit overdone for overripe for them. I from experience, I kind of prefer them that way. They go, you get them in with some chilli and garlic and jarred up. They're really quite meaty and chewy, which is how I prefer them. But there's a few green ones in. Doesn't always.
Is it a difficult job?
It's tricky. Yeah, I don't think I've got the world's most sophisticated de-stoning tool, to be honest.
No, all the stones. So when do you collect the stones when you've finished the job?
Tomorrow morning. No, I shall do them as soon as every now and then when I'm fed up of stoning.
And I see that you've got a glove on there.
Yeah.
So is that to protect you?
My delicate skin on my hands. It can be quite, over a few olives. A bit of time, you can feel it a bit. I think I need a bigger stone.
So would you like to tell us the process of what happens once you've de-stoned? What do you then start doing?
Okay, so there's plenty of stuff on YouTube in terms of you essentially have to keep these brined in heavily salted water. This is the first week I've had it. This is the second go, so I do it every other day, probably for about a couple of weeks, and then once a week then for probably another couple of months. you sort of get a feel for them. You can try them if you like, every now and then. But
and the brine is like the preservative, is it?
The brine is it's the preservative and the cleaner.
Right.
So it cleans all the stuff out of them. If you've ever tried a raw olive, if you like,
they're not tasty, are they?
They are absolutely horrible. The bitterest thing you have to say, it's not very nice at all. You've got to get all that stuff out there. There's a chemical name for it, which I used to know. But you've got to get all of that, and the weeks of brining will do that. Okay, and they do change a little bit. They do go softer, a little bit mushier, if you like. Certainly when you
bit different colour, do they?
They can darken. The lighter ones can darken to an extent. My last experience was that they didn't particularly so. People tell me they do. But that's what we've got, and that's obviously something that was destroyed in the stone process.
Okay,
last year when we did them, they turned out, the black ones turned out, with the chili and garlic, turned out particularly tasty.
Right.
They were very popular at the little Christmas party we had, I think, you may remember.
So I'm probably going to just leave this on a bit of a time lapse and see how long it takes him to do this little job. I'm sure there must be a faster way of doing it, obviously in the big factories, and also a better way of getting the leftover things that are coming out, the pips. Are they called pips?
Stones.
Stones. They're all on my mat at the minute. Okay.
Hello. You'll have seen me in an earlier video, sat here, close by, destoning the olives one by one in a rather laborious exercise, but it's got to be done. We'll see how well or otherwise I did that in a second, but for now, what I want to take you through is the simple one step of brining, or one of the steps, many steps that you'll be taking when it comes to brining your olives. So if we take a look down here on the table, we have an empty bucket for me to put them in. The bucket with the olives already in, and they've been in now for a week. I've changed the water and resalted, rebrined every other day. If you're looking on YouTube or Googling, you'll see 101 different schedules about every day, every other day, leave them for a week and the rest of it. It's a little bit of practice really as to what's best. It depends on how ripe your olives are, depends how much stuff is coming out of them when you're brining. You've just got to get a bit of a feel for it. I find every 2 days is fine. What I intend to do with this brine is, once I've rinsed them, put a new brine in the empty bucket, is probably leave them in for a week. I will check them from time to time, but I'll take you through that as we do it now. Okay, so let's have a look. First time in a couple of days. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So you can see the colour of that clearly, and you can also see there's some little fragments of olives in there. That's partly due to the brining process. It's also partly due to my destoning process, which isn't the neatest in the world. So let's have a little look.
That's where my missing dish went.
Yes. I tried to find the ugliest one I could.
I love that dish.
Oh dear. All right. Now you can see straight away there's quite a few olives in there. We'd only have the one tree, so we don't have a massive harvest. This will do us 2 or 3 jars though of olives, which will keep us going for a little bit. You'll also notice in some cases they are well and truly split, not just destoned. Some are a little neater, as you can see. They're not going to win any beauty prizes. They're not going to look like the ones from the shop, which have all been machine stoned, but they will taste, I promise you, if any last year's something to go by, a whole lot better. Now then, you can see that I've got a mix of colours in there. People will tell you to wait till they're black. Some say just take them on the turn. I found that if you brine them for long enough, you won't lose any flavour or texture, and they'll all be fine. I will, when I come to jar them, separate the darker ones from the green. So those greens, for example, I'll put in one jar and the darker in the other. And that's primarily because I may well flavour them differently. Last year with the black olives, we found that like a chilli and garlic flavour within the jar, once the brining continues, was really good. I've poured away the dirty water that we've just seen out of the olives. That's pretty empty. And I've already put my salt into the clean bucket, ready to get them in. Round about 1 part salt, 10 parts water, there or thereabouts. Again, you'll get a feel for that as you get along with it. So now I'm going to rinse these olives out with fresh water. And while I'm at it, okay, so I'm just going to swirl those around a little, get more of the residue off them. I'm going to quickly simply pour out. Okay, so I've rinsed out with clean water once. This is the second lot of clean water. I'm just going to rinse that away again. Here's my just brined fresh water. I'm simply going to pour the olives straight in. Swirl round, try and make sure that most of the salt is dissolved. Okay, and that looks pretty clean. Okay, so once they're in, covered with the water, you want to find a little plate that's just the right size, and you're going to compress that down a little, just to make sure that the olives stay submerged. Okay, not too tight, just so that none of them are bobbing up above the water. And again, a lid on the bucket, some say loosely, I like to keep it fairly tight. And that's it, really. Okay, just to finish off there, I'm going to leave those olives in now for probably a week. I'll probably check them after 3 or 4 days, just to check the colour of the water. Each time you brine and you rinse, you'll find that unclear, unclean water becoming clearer and clearer. Of course, that's the idea. It's still going to be 2 months, I reckon, 7 weeks probably, given that they've already been going a week, at least, possibly more, before they're in a state where the water's nice and clean. I'll have a little taste test, and we'll see whether or not they're ready for the jarring process then. And of course, I'll be showing you the stage, the last stage of cleaning and rinsing so you can see what they're going to look like, and the stage where I'm going to put them into the jars as well. Okay, but for now, that's it.